It's you are. I like that. That was the first ever smoking section intro video right here. Read it and weep, people. My guy, Austin. And we are joined here, Angry Capitalist. Yeah, the milkman. Unless
Milk or milk or be milk world.
check that out. My boys,
Hell
how are
yeah.
you tonight?
Doing pretty damn good.
Doing pretty well. How are you doing, man?
I'm doing good, dude. I'm doing fucking good. Milkman survived the motherfucking hurricane.
Bro, it's a milk or be milked world.
And my boys, we're out here from upstate New York. Real quick, if you want to give yourself like your own little personal rundown of who you are, what you do, and then we'll get to chatting right after. Austin's dumbass has been on the show like 4 times already, so he's been up in the smoking section already. But go ahead and give yourself a little intro, and then we'll take it from there.
So, actual name is Samuel. Tagline though is Angry Capitalist. You can find me on YouTube, along with Austin, as well as Corpse, as well as Instagram. Mainly, I talk business, economics, that kind of thing, and a little bit of psychology on the side. Overarching Marine Corps as well. Austin, I know he went in right after me. Corpse, were you in the Marine Corps too, or
Never? No,
never?
Never.
Good for you. Your knees are going to last longer.
No, he's been a solar installer for years and a dancer. Those things are shot, dude.
Oh, never mind.
These things are done. Dunzos. But thank you for your service, though. I told Austin that when I first met him.
Hey, I LARPed for a living.
Yeah, much fucking respect to the military, but Pops was in it. My brother was in it. And they both were like, nah. When I was like, oh, I wanted to do Air Force. And they were just like,
oh, okay.
They're like, nah, don't. I was like, well, I was even kind of like, hey, well, Air Force is like the chilling one. Like, no offense, but it's like it's the chilling one. They don't do what these other guys do. And they're like, just no, you're not doing the military. Like, do something else. Like, okay. So just never did it.
Couldn't set you on a career path or a good set of knees though.
No, you know what? My dad, what's funny about him, especially with shit like that, he would tell me what to do, but never help me like do anything. Like
anything
like nothing. Like I'll figure it out. It's like, okay, but I did had it figured out. Like I took the ASVAB already and everything. Like they were ready for me, but okay, Pops.
I don't think it's too late, bro. Let's get you a waiver.
Bro,
I'm now.
I'm 37 years old, bro. I can't.
I've helped 2 other people get in past the age of 25. We can do this, bro. It's not a problem.
They wouldn't take you because you're a single father too.
Ooh.
Yeah, never mind.
I'm not kidding. They won't. That's like a different waiver.
Depending on what happens with the whole global conflict situation,
get drafted.
Maybe they will, but you don't want to go in that. No,
bro. I'm actually scared they're going to do the draft. Like,
you won't be on it.
Why wouldn't I?
The draft cuts off at like 31 for the Army. It's like 29 for the Marine Corps.
Fuck! Yeah, I got a month left.
as of right now, so trust me, if it gets to a situation where they're drafting you, everyone else is already dead, so it's not like it matters at that point. Like, you're good.
Fuck. Oh man, no, I seen something where what was it? It was talking about like how the draft would actually work. Like certain ages would be immediately drafted,
and like then the 18 to 22.
Yeah, immediately drafted, and then everyone else after that, it's kind of like, I guess they would take people first who could fill like immediate, I guess, like positions of leadership or whatever, and then the rest of the people, and then these next age groups would be like our absolute like last line of defense. Like 30, it's like 35 and up is like last line, bro. We're sending you guys out last.
30 and up is like the last, like almost all branches cut off at 30 or right before it. Like 29 to 31 is the cutoff. Like they'll take you without a waiver. You're chilling, dude. If they wanted you, you'd already be gone. you'd be like somewhere in the Pacific, being a little meat shield for us, so we can hop along island hop. You remember the end of the Guardians of the Galaxy where they're like, "What are you doing?" He's like, "I'm distracting him."
Oh, yeah.
No,
Dude.
literally. That's unfortunately what historically happens to draftees.
No, bro. And like what's wild is too is it's been what now? Pretty much 3 full years now that it started out with Ukraine and Russia, and then there's just been this slow progress of just all kinds of shit popping off.
Yeah.
Like since then, and now before,
I mean,
like,
it's one of those things where, like, think back to when you were sitting in history class, right, and talking about World War I or World War II kicking off. To our perspective today, we don't have like a real sense of the time between those events, between like the kind of the preparatory stage of the system of alliances. Like World War I, that was building for years in advance.
mhm.
And then conflict started to kick off. And then World War I, it moved along pretty quickly. But even in that situation, though, is still years in the making to get everyone involved until we think of the height of World War I. So like it moves a lot slower than people think, because when we look at a history book, it seems like it happened so fast. But to people's perspective then, it was taking months to years for it to get going.
And even for us to get into World War II, we didn't really join it till the tail end of that. But just because there is stuff going on doesn't necessarily mean you are going to be the one to handle it, I guess.
And that's one thing, like, to both of those points where it's like America got involved in World War II so late, like, and even though we are regarded as the heroes, whatever, right? Like, we're the heroes of World War II. But both of those conflicts, there was like even inside the German government itself, there was already so many different coups and this and that happening.
Oh, yeah.
Right.
Like left and right, bro. And then they get to a point where they say, okay, well, we're going to take this land, then we're moving over here. And then, other nations started stepping up and saying, no, this isn't going to happen, start fighting back. A few years pass by this time, though. And then America jumps in. And then it's now we have this completed arc story of what we learn, right, in the history books, which is, several years of drama, compressed into 4 or 5 paragraphs of reading material for fucking 7th graders,
Sounds like somebody's ancestry sucked at war.
For real, dude, because it's like, hey, fam,
two points in there. One, all my family were already over on this side by World War I. So we've always been on the winning side.
That's the most important part.
Second, though, you do still have to keep in mind, like, were Germans by World War II not gripped by the ideology of Nazism, they likely would have taken control of the continent. So if you think about a lot of the crazy shit that they were doing with their economic policy, as well as, oh yeah, let's go ahead and take a vast majority of our population and murder them, instead of having them be around to assist with shit. Had that not taken place with that ideological bent, it may have been a very different story.
Yeah. And because I hate to, and I don't think it's glorification, right? But I'm trying to speak some fucking facts, right?
Certainly.
You take out that part, which is a major function of what happened out there. But if
huge.
Huge part of the apple pie. You take that out though, right? And you introduce something else, right? Like, he had a couple sex scandals, right? Like, or he's a cokehead, Hunter Biden, shout out, but you introduce some other any other dramatic fucking nutty shit that he could be doing, and you still put what they did out there, just even for Germany alone, is like some of the greatest, like one of the greatest comebacks of all time. Like before the party really took place, like they were like in a depression. Like Germany was in a depression. They were fucking like people were starving out there. It was all
back-to-back world wars, dude.
Taking L's back to back. Like, that's kind of crazy, bro. On a world stage.
It's honestly crazy that they went to war with the world once, and then we were like, yeah, keep your army, and then they did it again, and we were like, they'll learn next time.
Spite is a really, really unrecognized trait in people.
Oh, yeah.
Even who was it? I forget the name of the general, but he had effectively looked at the Treaty of Versailles and was like, "This isn't a surrender. This isn't a peace deal." Hello, buddy.
I saw that. I saw that.
Oh,
thought you were about to get robbed, dude.
Can I join in? No? Okay. Just stand there at the edge of my camera. Like
Corpse, I think you had a few questions before we go too deep into the things of Nazism in World War II. 10 minutes in.
Hey, we got straight into that.
I feel like this is a conversation that's better suited with some whiskey and cigars again. Maybe some old fashions.
Oh, bro, that was a good vibes. That was good vibes.
He wasn't there for it, dude. We gotta recreate it.
Yeah, bro, Sam, dude, we were out in Pensacola, man, and found this fucking cigar shop.
Cigar Factory.
Yeah, shout out Cigar Factory, Pensacola, Florida. And bro, like they let us smoke inside. It had a bar, like this whole little whiskey bar. And dude, we got fucking wrecked there one night.
We got ripped, dude.
Wrecked. And then next thing we're talking about like gun policy needs a real change. Like, yo,
dude, I remember someone walking in, like, what are you guys talking about? And I was like, prison reform? Like, I'll take a read, please. Dude, please Jake with Sam,
hey, living it up like Churchill
that time, man. Yeah, right. Exactly.
Oh man, it was nuts.
If you replaced Jake with Sam, like he would have fit in perfectly there. Like that's more like Sam's speed than it was Jake.
Yeah. Jake whoever this Jake's guy is,
another Marine.
What was his MOS?
I forget what he did. I picked on him a lot for it though, so nothing memorable.
Yeah, that's why.
Oh my god. So dude, wait. So yeah, so people can know a little bit more about you too before we jump into some crazy shit. You have your other channels. You do talks around the economy, right? And economics. Correct. And you also said psychology?
Yep. So primarily economics, business, and psychology. In regards to psychology, the main thing that I'm currently focusing on is what's known as MBTI, or Myers-Briggs personality type. Austin, you've probably met some chick who gave you that personality test thing in the past, and judged you for it. Yeah, you're smiling because I know that's happened to you.
I flashed that thing like the American Psycho movie where it's just like oh, the tastefulness of it.
There you go. So that's one of the main things I've been diving in for the past year and a half, something like that.
Do you like the Myers-Briggs? Do you like its like accuracy?
It's pretty useful. For a little bit of background context for anyone who's not super familiar as to what the hell it is I'm talking about, the way I would best explain it is people tend to use different types of cognition, meaning different ways of thinking about stuff. And you can rank order what people tend to use most to least, and also in what way. And that's how you come out with this so-called personality test. It can indicate a bit about your personality, but really it's more of how you think and operate. It doesn't really go into why. It doesn't go into like Freudian, anything like that. It's just kind of like a user's manual for the different types of people out there.
And what would you say is like when you're doing your studies, right? Or are you applying it to maybe like how people are approaching business choices in their behaviors? Or is it just something for people to have like a rough outline for themselves?
So typically it's been used for people to have a rough outline for themselves as well as other people. So for example, certain personality types, and these are arranged by a 4-letter system. As an example, my type would be ENTJ. You tend to get along with certain people more or less based off of how the way that you think interacts with each other. What I've started to look into a little bit more, and I'm trying to come at this from more of an organic research perspective as opposed to just reading whatever anyone else has put out, is how a person's personality type affects their personal finances as well as how they conduct themselves in business professionally.
Because, dude, I'm, I'm not a finance dude or someone doing the fucking stock market. Not my thing, but I do like it. But I know for a fact when I'm up on the roof, right, working, and then the moment I hop off, bags come off, it's a different person, bro. Like I am a different animal. And I always wondered, like, what about my personality or just how like my brain works, where that turns like on and off, like, because I feel like guys like in the stock, like especially like day traders, they're just always on. They're always looking at their fucking phone. They're always like, checking.
I can't even imagine trying to live like that. I do invest in the stock market, but there's a huge kind of rainbow in that whole world. So you've got like your day traders we're talking about, right? And you're exactly right. That's someone who is always on. You have to be. It's borderline like a neurosis. Hello, buddy. If you're going to sit here, just chill out, okay? Sorry for the interruption mid-podcast here. I'm suddenly someone's chair. You've got to constantly be on, always looking at what the markets are doing. That's way too much for me. And it doesn't suit my personality and the way that I tend to think and operate, especially like emotionally. To actually make money as a trader, you've got to have an insane level of emotional discipline. For myself, I'm more of like an income or a dividend investor. I want to find a good company or a fund, which is like a basket of other companies or of debt tranches. Buy that thing and have it pay me cash. And if it can stay going nice and steady in terms of its valuation, awesome. If it appreciates, like the price of the stock or the fund goes up, fantastic. Just keep paying me monthly, though. That's the main thing.
Yep. I have some stocks right now in the portfolio where I first learned about stocks through day trading and stuff. But then again, I don't have the emotional discipline, right? Where it's like, with some of that stuff, like, because I don't want to knock it, because the guy who taught me so well, where he was like, you're going to see it hit a number. He's like, and what I'm going to teach you is going to tell you to sell. He's like, but you're going to become attached to that number. And he's like, and you're going to think it's going to move a certain way because you're attached to it. And you're not reading, because like the chart, the candlesticks, the fucking lines, when it's green versus when it's red.
Yeah, that's a whole other thing, is like trying to figure out your technicals and looking off charts versus for case in point on that topic with day trading specifically. And one of the reasons why I don't do it is it's all too easy. And even like massive funds, so-called Wall Street professionals will do this, to where they'll get stuck and focused and looking in on that chart and the types of moves it'll make. But they'll get so focused in on that they'll ignore whatever the rest of the market is doing, or they'll ignore the broader macroeconomic picture. And then that comes in just like you're getting hit by a earthquake or hurricane, jacking your whole strategy up because you got sucked in.
Dude, and for that reason, right, I have found, a couple companies, they're steady, they've been around for forever. They pay good dividends, and I've just been slowly buying them. You know, Robinhood, shout out Robinhood, sponsor this podcast. A lot of people don't like you guys, but I fuck with you.
I hate Robin.
Dude, everyone tells me, why? Get TD Ameritrade, do whatever you got to do, dude, just not Robinhood. I'm like, bro, listen, it's who I started with. I can't move. Like, I can't do it.
I can appreciate that. I ended up moving to Webull. Back during the whole GameStop fiasco, they had locked down like other trades too and stuff. Like even just, hey, I just want to sell this off because I'm not even like doing anything like that. I was like, yeah, no, F this, I'm out.
What? Okay, so correct me if I'm wrong, but what it seemed like had happened was that they had these trades, right? And they had these stocks. Yes. And so much money was flowing at any given moment, at that whatever moment it was where it just crashed, that so much cash was flowing that Robinhood wasn't able to keep up with the processing. Like they didn't have enough money on hand to say, we're going to pay you all of this right now, right? Because they're supposed to be instantaneous, like, you know what I mean? Like an instantaneous sell.
Correct. So that's something that happened in a few situations. The broader implication, though, that had largely come out was they had effectively tried to freeze the trades of specific securities because they were trying to get ahead of the regulators coming in. Because to give context, this all started with GameStop. It affected other things too, whereby a whole bunch of people were buying into a security because they had found out that a huge hedge fund had put some kind of an options call on that security. When I say security, I mean a stock, right? Like a company. So they'd put a short on this stock and they were running the counter bet. And also at the same time, buying more of that stock to drive the price up. And this was like a herd action to pump the stock up, which this was kind of new. There wasn't really any regulation to cover something like this. I can give Robinhood the full benefit of the doubt on the one hand, which is they were trying to do the right thing and not have the regulators come down on them, especially being a newer brokerage. But at the same time, though, this is not something that's orchestrated. It's nothing that's being done by an insider. There is no actual regulation or laws against doing this. They should have stayed the hell out of the way, in my opinion.
Yeah.
And freezing these traders' ability to buy and sell specific securities, I think they had even gotten sued for that as well. And I think that's, if I remember correctly, that's where they had also come in and said, hey, because of all this activity that was going on, we did do this, but there was also this issue with various orders just not being able to be filled because of volume. I don't know if that was a real thing that was going on or if that was just an excuse given to the courts at that point in time.
They came out with speaking about GameStop, they came out with this Godzilla game, and I had pre-ordered it, and then I never finished paying it. And they've kept it like, oh, you have this pre-order, and it's this Godzilla game that came out 10 years ago. And every time I go in there, they ask me if I want to pay on it, and like it doesn't. I don't know if anybody works at GameStop, but if like someone could fix that, it's really annoying. Or just give me the game, because like that Godzilla game was trash, but it sells. They discontinued it because it was so trash that it sells for like hundreds of dollars now. And I never got it because I like lost my job that week, or like I moved or something, and I just couldn't pay on it.
How much do you owe left on it?
All $60. I think like the 5 that like lets you reserve the right to put something down.
Oh my god! Why don't you just pay the money and then flip it?
They don't have it anymore. It's like a system error that they've had for like 8 years now.
Oh my god, dude!
That's all I could think about while you guys were talking. You guys said GameStop, and it clicked that memory of every time going in there.
I'm trying to think of I'm trying to think of the group I had seen. I think it was like Wall Street Bets or Guerrilla Army or so. It was some fucking crazy name, dude. And I just remember seeing it like float around on Twitter.
Yeah, it started with Wall Street Bets.
Mm.
And then the hedge fund they were running against, or funds, because they'd beaten out one, like a bunch of Redditors with Robinhood accounts beat this first hedge fund.
You said that like a slur, bro.
Really works. It really is.
You hit the hard R in Redditors.
I did. I'm on Reddit. Like I'm on Reddit. I can say
he's,
hard R.
He's a Redditor.
But still, though, it's this kind of very mimetic experience whereby a bunch of yahoos on the internet, some of whom were extremely sophisticated, so not to cut them to sell them short in the slightest, but a lot of them aren't. They had beaten out this first hedge fund, like they beat a hedge fund. A second larger hedge fund came in, bailed out this other hedge fund that was going to be put like underwater. Like they tanked the hedge fund on this bet. It would have put them out of business. A second one came in, bought out that hedge fund, and they were winning against that one. So then the exact circumstances I'm not exactly sure of, but Wall Street Bets had been shut down by the people at Reddit. And so then they had started up various other subreddits or other Reddit pages, one of which was Guerrilla Army, and they'd produced a whole bunch of other offshoots. So that way they'd have backup platforms. Yeah, so it started with Wall Street Bets. Wall Street Bets got shut down, and that proliferated.
Bro, and I knew guys here in Oxnard, California, making dough. They made dough off of GameStop. It was GameStop, AMC, and Dogecoin that went fucking bonkers, bro.
I made $1,000 off Dogecoin in 5 days. I'm not normally a trader, but I was like, yeah, let's see what happens. I just threw like $50 on it.
Oh,
and
bro.
Now, keep in mind, I'm a guy who's like more of an investor, not a trader. So, brief thing on there: traders and investors. What separates the two are time horizons. Typically, I call it at about 3 months. So, a trader has a very short time horizon. They're looking to buy and flip, trade securities. An investor is looking to buy it, hold it for the long haul, appreciation, dividends, that kind of thing over years and years. Now, I'm not normally a trader, but it was one of those things where I was like, screw it, $50. And it worked out.
Oh, dude, I did so much.
My dad made like, I don't think he wants me to put it out there, but my dad like made like 20,000 on it. And
God damn.
Yeah. And wow. he had like a 19, I don't remember what year, but he had like a really beat up Silverado, and he went out and bought like it was like a couple years newer, but not like a whole like in the same generation.
Yeah,
because he loved it, but it kept breaking down. I remember one time we broke down, and he used like a bottle cap to get it going again. Like took the tab off my Monster,
my god,
put it on there, and we had like a 3-hour drive left. He loved that thing, but it was a piece of crap, and he's got a family. So he's like, yeah, he's like, I traded it all, and he's like, I just got a new Silverado, and it's like a 5-year newer one. He's like, it's silver now. I was like, love that for you, man.
Fucking nah, I'm way more into long-term investing, bro. Like got into a couple, like I'm saying, I got into a couple of securities, you know, a couple stocks where it was good dividends, right? They're at the point now where they're paying me more than what the stock is worth.
Good.
As a single security. Yeah. So it's like, now I just got those on repeat and I'm just chilling. I'm like, yeah, just let that roll.
Do you, with your brokerage, do you have it set on drip where it automatically reinvests, or how do you do that?
Yeah, I do a automatic reinvest on there's 2 out of the 4 of them that are like my main ones. 2 of them I have on an automatic, on a repeat. Yeah, the other ones I don't, because I want to be able to, like, when that does come in, whether it's quarterly or monthly or whatever, I want to have it at my disposal, because either I'm not too interested in the company or something.
That's my same thing too, is I started doing the automatic reinvestment, but the way that I'll typically do it is I just buy in on down days. So if the market as a whole is doing something crazy, but the underlying security that I actually own is still sound, if the market tanks down like 3 to 5% in a day, I'll just go ahead and buy more. So I want to have that cash sitting there and build up until it drops in price again.
I'd like to say, if you ever hear financial advice from me, it is like probably a joke. Never take any. I just paid gas with negative money in my account. Do not take financial advice from me. I make poor financial decisions,
bro. And I was talking to somebody.
Okay.
I was talking to somebody about this podcast period, and they're like, about some of the jokes I make, whatever. And I'm like, people probably take advice from you. I'm like, listen, if you're taking advice from me on this podcast,
this is a really, really good, important time. I'll go ahead and do the disclaimer if you're okay with it, guys.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, please keep in mind you're watching a podcast with 3 dudes. I'm not a licensed financial advisor, and I'm not a CPA. Either one of you guys, are you CPAs or licensed financial advisors? No? Okay, good, cool. Anything we discuss within this podcast is purely educational entertainment. Don't be a bitch. Take responsibility for yourself. Do your own due diligence.
If you relate to me at all, seek help. It is too late for me, but there is still time for you.
It's not too late for you, Austin. I believe in you.
Yeah, we can say we can turn that puppy around, boy.
They say there ain't nothing a little alcohol won't fix. A little alcohol, a little drunk swiping on Facebook dating, and I'll be all right.
That's a good pastime right there.
And so for a long time too, though, like I had always wanted to get really more educationally sound, right? When it comes to my money, how it behaves, right? And I don't know, because there's some November's coming, right? So we all know what that means. November's coming.
Deer hunting.
Right. And there's some litigation that looks to be passed on unrealized gains. And that is something I still don't quite understand. And if you could brief me on that, brother.
If you need to be briefed on that, you need to hit the fucking gym, nerds. Get all those fucking
It's like, what?
I'll let Sam take that one from here.
Right on. So effectively, what happens with any kind of an asset? Now, when I say asset, I mean something that holds value. Your car is not an asset. Dear God, please dispel that myth. So if we're talking about stocks or real estate or a business, right? Those are all good examples of an asset. Now, the whole thing with realized versus unrealized gains, specifically capital gains, is, let's say, for example, I own a bunch of stock and I sell it, and I sell it at a profit. I have realized the appreciation on that stock. Same thing with real estate, right? I live in a duplex, which I own or occupy. If I own that duplex and let's say 10 years passes by and that duplex has grown in value, or just the currency has been inflated away to where it gives a perception that it's grown in value. But that's a whole other story. And if I sell it, I have realized a gain on it. Now, what they're talking about with an unrealized gain is when the theoretical price that you could sell that asset for goes up. Now, what they're proposing to do is to tax that asset and make you pay on a gain that you have not realized. And that theoretically, let's say, for example, they assess your asset one day, and you are now locked in and you have to pay taxes on that asset. And then tomorrow, the day after it's assessed, everyone else also holds assets of that class and they have to pay taxes on it. Well, now they might go ahead and sell it, but you still owe that tax. So this is one.
I'm not paying taxes, dude. I don't care. Who would it take? Who would it take for you to pay taxes? Who would they have to send? Be Selma Hayek in her prime, bro.
I already pay taxes, so I can't even. I can't
that.
even. Yeah.
Google,
I know.
Google fact check
I'm legally compliant.
Dude, I can't. I just don't get where.
Oh, and a brief tangent on that too, because I know someone out there is going to make this kind of comment. Well, it's only a tax on assets or people who are worth more than 100 million, 400 million, whatever the hell it is. Yeah, that's what they said about income taxes too. And Uncle Sam takes about 30% of my paycheck every month. So
yeah, upstate New York, or New York's pretty
brutal.
right about that one.
It's brutal.
I remember that.
Sorry, I cut you off there, Core.
No, I just don't see, like, my thing is what I've noticed about the stock market, and one thing that because I'm really big on words, right, and the way that people choose to say.
He likes a little wordplay.
Like, yeah, the words that they literally fucking choose to say, like, you know what I mean? Like, there's so many ways you could describe something, and the way you describe it to me is important. So they say people step, right? So people, they say, oh, someone stepped into the market. There was a buyer that stepped in. Oh, a buyer stepped out, right? Or a holder stepped out. So to me, right, taxes, I don't think we should be paying all these fucking taxes. Like, I think it's a little fucking crazy, but I understand that money is necessary for the government to run. How do they collect this money? Yes, there should be some kind of taxes that we pay, whatever.
Yeah, but there's a sorry to take this on a kind of a weird tangent there. Angry capitalist, one of the reasons that pisses me off about our economy. I'll use an example of a tax that I'm okay with. The Robertson-Pittman tax or act. I'm probably butchering that horribly. As I just made a reference to deer hunting here recently, right?
Mm-hmm.
Anytime you buy a weapon, so firearm, bow, ammo, you buy a hunting license, you buy anything camouflage that is sold as hunting apparel, turkey calls, deer calls, doe piss, whatever, right?
Mm-hmm.
There's a flat tax on that, and that funds wildlife conservation. That funds the management of public lands as well as of the various species that are out there. That's the kind of tax that, like, hey, look, it makes sense. I can live with that. Mm-hmm. Taxing someone for working or for living in a house,
a little crazy.
Oh, but sorry, continue.
So it doesn't drive incentive, right? And I feel like just as humans, right, we are very incentive driven, right? Like, indeed, we want to try to stay warmer, stay drier, stay this, that, blah, 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 blah. And so you pass this tax on an unrealized gain, and I just feel that more people are going to step out of our market, right? And maybe you can even talk about what you might know about, like, the BRICS, because it's like there is there's markets everywhere around the world.
Correct. Right? So that's a really good topic to touch on, and I'll refer to it as tax avoidance. Mm-hmm. Now, before we go too far into this, with any presidential candidate who is proposing this kind of thing, and you have to remember she's also receiving a lot of funding and a lot of support from very big companies and institutions and very wealthy individuals. And that seems very contradictory, right? Mm-hmm. You have to remember the most important rule, the golden rule. Have you guys heard of the golden rule?
Treat others the way you want to be treated.
No.
Jerk off in a porta potty on a hot day.
That's a good rule, not the golden rule, though.
Keep doing it, then.
The golden rule is he or she, in today's economy in the world, who has the gold makes the rules.
The golden rule.
That being said, gold just doesn't refer to money, though. It's whoever has the thing of desired value in any negotiation, right?
Mm-hmm.
Money, gold, that's typically a pretty good thing to want and to have. Which these individuals who are very wealthy and all these institutions, if they're backing this candidate who's saying this, they're making rules that'll benefit themselves somehow. It's regulatory capture is what it's called, right?
Mm-hmm.
So what we'll likely see from this is there are other markets where you can trade and where you can conduct business in the stock market. Likewise, I would be extremely, extremely surprised to not see some kind of loophole mechanism whereby all of such candidates' rich donors could go ahead and continue to conduct themselves like normal while throwing a good percentage of their competitors under the bus. A lot of people would look at what I'm saying as very cynical, but if you hear congressmen who've started to be a little bit open about how legislation works, people are literally getting onto their Robinhood or Webull accounts immediately after passing some kind of a resolution in the halls of Congress. So if you think that the whole idea of, oh yeah, we're going to tax all these rich people, uncapitalized gains, never mind the market effect of what that's going to have to people's pensions and retirements.
Mm-hmm.
But if there's not going to be some kind of little back door that these very wealthy, connected people are going to use, you're huffing glue, fam.
And there's always that. There's always the, like, I didn't realize bills and stuff weren't like single issue. I didn't realize that wasn't a thing. I didn't realize that until I was like much older, right?
Yeah.
And so, yeah, if you're passing a 25% unrealized gains tax, there's something in that fucking bill that these corporate guys they're like, oh, okay, like, you know what I mean, like, all right, like, cool, we'll let this slide, like, you know what I mean, because that's in there, and we're gonna work that motherfucker to the death of it, like, you know, because I don't know, I don't like to be like so like Sally Sob when it comes to America, because I think America fucking rules, but corporations have taken control of the U.S. government.
It was said by Milton Friedman, an economist. You've probably seen his videos either in school or through YouTube clips. A quote that he had said was, "The greatest threat to the free market and to capitalism are other business people." As a brief example of that, right? If you talk to all these corporate executives, oh yeah, you know, the capitalism, you know, the free market is great, but we need some regulation, specifically on my industry, usually, to either quash competitors or to prevent new entrants into the marketplace. Although we're doing a lot of things right and we're still by far kicking ass compared to the rest of the world, unfortunately, that's a very real problem in our economy that we face more and more, is this kind of corruption.
And then, I mean, I knew shit was going to really get cracking once the BRICS formed. And once you started having this conversation of moving off the US dollar. And even then, I didn't really understand how that worked until someone started saying, like, well, just imagine anywhere you went with a US dollar, they just said, nah, we don't accept that here. Like, that doesn't work here. Just imagine anywhere what do you mean that doesn't work here? What do you mean that doesn't fly here? And so now that the BRICS is forming, and then you have these corporations that, you know, and all these businesses or just investors themselves who are like, hey, well, we're not doing business here no more. We can do business over here where they have certain regulations and rules in their countries. Well, I mean, maybe not the best country to do business in, but who knows? You know.
Well, it's one of those things whereby in today's economy and globalized connected world, you can conduct business in the U.S., but you can do that by doing business in, I don't know, Ireland, which is a tax haven nation.
Mm-hmm.
And to all these people who conduct business in this fashion, it's just a matter of telling your lawyers what kind of a result you want, and your lawyers filling out a bunch of forms, paying some fees, or in certain countries, bribes, to go ahead and fill stuff out. We keep doing the same thing as normal, but we just change the legal structure to make ourselves exempt.
Mm-hmm. Like due to like, I know there's certain websites right now where it's like you could go on there, you pay the dude, and yeah, he gets your business address changed to whatever, whatever address, and gets it filled out, so you're not paying X, Y, and Z taxes. You just got to pay a couple fees for this and that, and you're done.
Yeah,
So
I was working on a business venture. I ended up having to take a step away from it for a while because of personal reasons, losses in the family, just life situation stuff going on. But I had set up a C Corp in Delaware, and it was a couple $100.
Mm-hmm.
And you just go onto this website, fill out what you want. They submit all the paperwork properly for you, and bang, within a few minutes, I had a corporation formed.
Boom. Hey, and you see the ads for him all the time too. Some of these websites, you see him on Instagram, you see him on Facebook. Fucking Taylor Brands,
I see them more. As soon as I did that for the first time, I got flooded with ads for it, which kind of pissed me off. Not that I mind seeing the ads. It's because it's like, oh my god, you guys suck at marketing so bad. I've already bought the thing. Now you're marketing to me. You should have done that like 2 months ago.
They're trash. This is trash.
On the topic of bricks, though, I am not overly concerned about it quite yet. I still do see the dollar as being the preeminent currency as it pertains to a medium of exchange globally. The reason being is all the countries that are forming BRICS, there's no trust, all of their currencies and stuff are so far manipulated by themselves that you can't get the Russians to use the yuan, and you can't get the Chinese to use the ruble, or to get the anyone else to use the rupee. So there's not too much of a concern there yet. However, what you will see, though, is more international trade being done outside of the dollar system. Or if it's being done within the dollar system, it won't be on SWIFT, won't be digital dollars. It'll be like physical or some other exchange platform that they may use. So I'm not super worried about the BRICS at this point in time. It may change in a few years, though.
Because, I mean, militarily, that's one thing. Right. But
correct.
I've just grown more and more concerned with them because America's the place to fucking be. Everybody loves vacationing here.
USA.
Right. We fucking rule, dude. Get over it, Russia. Get fucking over it, dude. We rule, bro. But like, or people want to go to France. They want to go to London. They want to go to, they want to go somewhere in Spain, like these places that still have, that still have their dealings with us. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I know we can't always rely on that, but
no. On that topic too, militarily, this has been a bit of a trend ever since the end of the Cold War with the fall of the USSR.
Mm-hmm.
The U.S. has started to go ahead and kind of retract back a lot of our involvement throughout the world. Now, of course, for a lot of us who grew up in the GWAT era, it doesn't seem like that. But I think that we're, as a country, especially as our generation gets older and gains more influence, I think we're likely going to become more of like, hey, we want to have our basket of friends who we're super cool with and offer us something, and everyone else can go pound sand.
For real.
So the BRICS may even be a natural reaction to us becoming a little bit more insulatory as we go forward. is an example. We're talking kind of like a NAFTA plus type situation. So you've got North America will probably integrate with more of Central and South America, Japan, Korea, the UK, and the Scandinavian countries.
Like, and I see, I have a problem with the word when they toss around the word nationalist, right? Like, because, you know, technically that's just someone who has, you know, like an obscene amount of patriotism and love for their own country and blah, blah, blah. And to me, I guess if that's the word that they want to paint me as, it's cool. But I just feel like America should have more dealings with America, right? And with the countries that directly line our borders, right? Like Canada,
our hemisphere. It's crazy because we're talking right now about an idea that was prevalent during Roosevelt. I mean Teddy Roosevelt, not FDR. If you want to get me going, there's a whole other topic. But during Theodore Roosevelt, he hated Teddy. I'm sorry, he hated being called Teddy. Theodore Roosevelt's administration. That was the direction of America's future. Was more hemispheric, being within the Americas and within the North Atlantic and the North Pacific, as opposed to the Middle East, that whole quagmire, being involved super deeply with more of interior Europe's problems.
Shout out FDR. He would have loved the homeless population we have got going on right now.
Oh yeah, he would have.
Right up his alley.
And bro, I just don't see. Soon, buddy. I just don't see the issue. I get, like, it took me a while, right? But then I had some dudes tell me, like, you know, I would have rather have been over there fighting than to be here fighting.
Yeah, for sure.
I get that. So, like, because I was always like that, why are we fucking, like, you know, like I was that angry fucking 20-year-old fucking Democrat.
Well, I slid that in there real quick.
It's hilarious, though, because now suddenly we're hearing from more of the right end of politics, of being more insulatory and being more isolationist, as opposed to the Democrats, who are being more of that way. Like they've more hawkish, more warmongering, saber rattling. So the whole thing with like Russia, Ukraine, not having like a very solid idea of like, hey, we should end this conflict as soon as we can so people stop dying.
That's not new to us. Like the banana wars, like we were like, the Marines were like mercenaries, dude. Like we were just showing up, getting paid, stacking bodies, and going to the next island, dude. Like that's not even 100. That's not even 100 years ago, dude.
No, it's
to pretend like this is anything new. We've got, and I know it doesn't seem like it, but we've got like the least amount of engagement we've ever had going on, or at least boots on the ground, than we've ever had in America's inception.
Indeed.
We've always been just, and never in the same places either. Like when you think about it, you think like there would be a united front with like the Army and the Marines or like the Navy and all that, but they'll be in like separate like battle theaters and then just doing their own thing, engaging entirely different sets of enemies.
We don't play
for the first time. For the first time ever, we're like just drone striking people. And I know that sounds really insensitive, but it's
that's nutty business, bro.
Not even 20 years ago, it was like boots and doors.
Well, you're not wrong there. And really, what's a better approach? A drone strike, a drone strike with like a drone that spits swords out of the side, taking one guy off his balcony, or us having the Marines show up, marching across your desert to flank you, and then burning your country down. Like,
bro, could you imagine? Could you have imagined, bro, the first time someone saw a fucking tank, dog, like just clink, 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 and they just look, and there's this,
I just give up, dude,
behemoth of a machine just right there, like, what the fuck is that? Like, you know, like, what the fuck is this? Dude, airplanes, airplanes hadn't even been existing for like
airplanes changed the game, dude. Helicopters changed the game.
Bro, those things weren't even in existence for like 40 years before they were starting to drop bombs out the bitch.
Wasn't a helicopter specifically made for the Vietnam War?
No, like 10 years. Yes.
What was it?
Like they had
like the engine, but they didn't have
prototypes. They had the engine. They had the rotors. They had all the pieces and like
I believe that
the general prototype.
The ability to launch straight up and down. I believe it had to be taken off from a plane and then it could hover.
That's nuts.
Yeah.
That's
Spam and sunscreen was also made for the Vietnam War.
Spam and sunscreen?
Yep.
Sunscreen. Us whiteys were getting
spam and
two burns. Spam and sunscreen were also byproducts of the Vietnam War.
Indeed.
See, bro, and again,
my skin thanks you.
We go a little places, we spread a little of America. It's all good, right? I'm down with that, right? That's cool. But like when shit, because there's not a single voting American right now who can't say that shit is a little weird right now in America. Like shit's a little fucking weird.
Yeah.
So why are we saying like, oh, let's just pump some more money into this other war, keep pumping money over here to these people, like or
money laundering. That's my first instinct. Is as soon as I look at the amount of funds that are being moved in any given thing, and it's specifically money, I'm guessing there's some backroom deals going on. Maybe I'm cynical. Yeah, I just assume that's how politics works.
Oh, bro. Like, okay. And this is where people got me fucked up. Is they think because I say something about the Bidens or I say something about this that like I'm inherently a party. Yeah, I'm a party. I'm a loyalist, whatever, right? Because I was a Bernie dude. Okay. So people got me fucked up, but it's like we're not gonna sit here and act like that shit don't happen. Right? Like,
oh yeah, it does.
Who was it? Dick Cheney, and what was the name of that fucking group? What was the name of the fucking contractors who rebuilt Iraq? Right?
Oh,
Blackwater.
Yeah, like bro, or
one of their subsidiaries.
One of their subsidiaries. Wasn't Blackwater like their third name or something?
Well, there was a list of companies. They've had like 20 names.
There was a list of companies, I guess, too, who got contracted throughout periods. And it was just kind of like that mafia style, like, hey, just wait your turn in line. It's going to come back around. You'll have work, you'll be out of work for 3 months. These guys will take over the contract for a little bit, blah, 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 blah. And they just kept fucking running the money. Sure, that was George W. Bush, and he really didn't know what was going on like that. Whatever. Like, you know what I mean? Whatever. Who's fucking judging the guy? But I'm not going to act like this ain't happening right now too. Like, you know what I mean? And I truly 100% think that there is either some backroom deal going on with the military industrial complex or whatever, just for the reconstruction, or to go even further to say, hey, we're going to sell you the guns, and when these fools blow you the fuck up, we're going to help rebuild your cities.
Yeah, so case in point, actually, the initial aid packages that we had sent over specifically to Ukraine during the beginning stages of the war were typically effectively surplus, like military surplus that hadn't just been pushed onto the private market yet. So old shit, explosives that were getting aged to the point to where it's like, it's getting a little bit too sensitive, or who knows how this is going to behave when it goes off.
I want to use it soon.
Yeah, exactly. We're at a point where we either need to throw this out, blow stuff up in place, or find something else to do with it. And so officially, as far as I'm aware, we had just wrote up an aid package and sent this over to Ukraine. And we effectively paid ourselves for that asset. Yeah. So the U.S. government had sold this stuff to Ukraine with a loan that we had wrote to ourselves, basically. So we said, hey, here's $100,000 or $100 million worth of equipment. We're giving ourselves $100 million worth of this equipment. or $100 million for this equipment, and then Ukraine's getting the stuff. And then we started to funnel cash into this country as well. Yeah. But to your point, though, Court, and this is one of the things that blows my mind, where people don't just assume that stuff like that happens, because it's like, hey, we're talking about human beings here. Mm-hmm. And if you just observe human beings and typical human interactions, think about your high school class, right? And the sort of people who were conducting themselves and how they behaved then. Those are the people, the same types of people that go out into politics or into business and do all the shady shit. It's just another example of human behavior.
It's like we almost can't help it. You know? No. Like you just like people, it's like those sayings of like people who want power always seek power, right? Like absolute power corrupts absolutely. Blah blah blah. Like, you know, like all those fucking funky ass sayings, but it's like truly like when you can at a wave of your pen make a couple $100 million, like who wouldn't, you know, like really.
Precisely. Or worse yet, well-intentioned fools who think they're doing something for the right reasons, but then they're interfering with stuff that they don't understand, or
that's why I never plan anything out. I always do everything on a whim, so that way you can never. I don't know what's coming next. Exactly. You don't know what's coming next. We're all gonna find out together.
Next episode of Dragon Ball Z.
I'm negative $70 in my account right now.
Oh God!
You gotta knock that off, bro.
Well, I'm just saying, don't take legal advice from me.
That's a good point there. But yeah, no, it's either you're gonna end up with a well-intentioned fool who could cause something bad to happen, even though they think they're doing the right thing, or you're gonna end up with someone who's maliciously trying to harm someone else, or who is trying to advantage themselves. And this is normal human behavior. Happens.
Yeah, they what is it? The roads to hell are paved. Yeah, the roads to hell are paved with good intentions. Look at you! I didn't know I was a fucking ventriloquist. I didn't know that.
Get it? You like fortune cookies, bro?
I do. Those are my favorite. But it's true. It's fucking true, bro.
I like to use the chick out of the egg analogy, right? So like if you've got a baby chick in an egg, it actually needs to struggle against getting out of the shell to develop muscle to like even walk. And if you help it, you're gonna jack it up physically and you'll make its legs deformed. So you have people who go out and, oh no, I'm gonna help the little baby chick out of the egg, and then you fuck it up for life.
They use the airplane analogy, where if it's going down and the oxygen masks come out, you have to help yourself before you can help the person to your right, because if you struggle to help them, you both might pass out.
Bro, and it just sucks, right? When I think of where
snakes on a plane, it's scary, dude.
Bro, like
it could happen to anyone.
You have a snake like your dick.
When you have good intentioned people, bro, just carrying out a mission, like, you know what I mean? They're just doing their job, just doing the thing that they think is right. You know what I mean?
Hey, the Inquisition thought they were doing the right thing by burning all those witches. You know, they thought they were doing the right thing.
Oh my God.
That historically had to like start my taste in women right there. that is a canon event for me. Predestined before I was born,
because
it had to happen just like that, bro. Some chick had to be like, "Hey, look what I can do," and some dude had to be like, "Witch, burn her, start a whole fucking epidemic." And then today, I'm addicted to chicks who got that little fucking the choker, the little black one right there, bro.
It's funny. It's funny, dude, to think like I've listened to some podcasts, right? More famously, Joe Rogan's. And there was this thing of where I guess there was ergot or something, right? Like some hallucinogenic.
Ergot. It was a hallucinogenic fungus which could affect wheat. It would make people see shit.
That sounds like my sleep paralysis demon's name.
Bro,
Hey,
allegedly got in the
get
woods.
out of here, bro. I'm trying to fucking
we
sleep.
know you're also in debt to the Hat Man, okay?
$20.
Only
Yo,
$20, that's good.
I'm not going to sleep, because I'm trying to avoid it. Suddenly, this isn't a safe place anymore.
But dude, just imagine like you're eating your fucking.
You should title the episode this Nightmare, Nightmare, Nightmare. And there's 3 of us, so it fits.
Dude, I'm saying, watch, bro. You're eating your evening wheat, and next thing your wife is on a broomstick flying around the fucking kitchen because you're out here tripping off of ergot, bro.
Can we
the
if
yellow
it was
bird,
real, how terrifying that would have been. I'm not saying
the
it was
the yellow
true,
bird
but
thing.
that
So
must have been.
in court during the Salem witch trials, this was either done as like a mass prank by a bunch of young girls to try and get someone in trouble for being a witch, or it was legitimately a mass hallucination whereby one person started hallucinating a yellow bird flying around the courtroom, and then they started screaming about it, and then everyone was seeing this yellow bird.
No, mass hysteria, and you gotta imagine, like, people are like, "Oh, that can't happen to me," but you don't know what, like, a life of not eating or not, like, eating correctly or, like, having lead in your fucking walls or, like, having, like George Washington had, like, slave and donkey teeth and, like, lead in there.
Beer is
like,
safer than water. Like, that's
dude, like, you know,
and on the one, no, I'll push back on that. People still have mass hysteria today about stuff.
It's real, especially, like, when there's, like, someone else just being like, yeah, like, that's the thing, and you're like, cool, fuck that thing. I'm on board with that.
Like how I tell the homeless people when I pass by him that he's got bugs in his skin. He needs to get them out.
You gotta get them out, bro.
It's fucking ruthless.
No, dude, this is a core memory, and I know this is, like, so off topic, but I remember the epilogue. No, what is that book they make you read in high school about the Salem witch trials? God, it's that famous one.
Yeah.
You read it, right?
I did.
Do you remember what it's called? Trip me up. Anyways, at the end, she remarries after her husband dies, and I remember in class being like, "Oh, I don't like that part." And the teacher was like, "Why?" And I was like, "I don't know," but, like, I don't like that part. And now that I'm older, I just wanted to say I still don't like that part.
I don't like that part.
I support that. Hey, shout out to what was his name? Giles Corey. So Court, are you super familiar with
the rock guy?
So I found this out last month. No, at the start of this month with October and seeing all the memes and stuff. So apparently the situation is if you confess to being a witch, then the court in the state, the city or town or whatever would take all your shit and all your assets.
Yeah.
And so one of the reasons why he was so adamant about not just confessing and making it end quicker.
They were putting more stones on his chest, trying to get him to confess, and he just kept saying more stones or more weight.
More weight, yeah.
Until it crushed him to death. Instead of just saying that he was affiliated with the witches.
Ooh.
So.
And that was who?
And I cannot Giles Corey, but I can't remember the name of the book. I'll just look up Giles Corey.
If
Jamie pulled it up.
Pull that shit up.
But as someone that's happened to, I don't like the remarrying part. That shit. As an adult, that had to have been like 14 years ago. 1692. It was the Salem witchcraft trials.
Get your finger under the words there, bud. Sound that out.
The Crucible. Jesus Christ. You think two out of three of us would have remembered the fucking Crucible?
Nah.
Yeah, you weren't the second one, bud.
Fuck you.
Sometimes I wake up there, man. No, I'm just kidding. That's stupid.
Yeah, I don't know, dude. Like, there is, and this is definitely a whole different tangent. But I definitely do believe is that there is some factualness behind the Salem witch trials, right? And I say that because though, yes, the pilgrims and there's people who came over here because of religious persecution, we come to find out a lot of them were just Freemasons, a lot of them were scientists and people who like stood against the church.
Yeah.
But I do believe that there may have been a ship or two of some fucking bitches who like to do some weird shit. Like, you know, like these
No, definitely. It was
yeah, it was just their paranoia, dude. It was they were fucking. They had like the slaves were bringing over like their voodoo talk and like their like culture and history, and white people were like, we don't like that. Like that's like, but they believe the stuff that they believe. They're like, oh, that's associated with demons. So for you to like even practice, like they were scared of dancing, bro. Like dancing was prohibited. So when they caught all of their young girls like dancing in the woods, it's like, oh, they must be hypnotized or they must be like worshiping the devil. Because why else would they be out there fucking doing this?
So on the topic of dancing,
let's hit all the jig together. Hit him with a stinky leg. But yeah, you're saying.
On the topic of dancing, and I believe at that point in time there was still the persecution of individuals in Europe, as well as the part where the pilgrims came from in like Wales, England, Ireland, Scotland, all throughout there, who were still practicing pagans. The various different.
You couldn't show ankle when they're out there dancing, bro.
Yeah,
that's where Footloose should have been set.
So case in
Imagine
point,
Kevin Bacon. 1692. Sorry, I'm sorry, bro.
Case in point, for these people who were living in this new settlement, they just came from a world whereby dancing was associated with paganism. Therefore, you were a worshiper of the devil and you should be burned at the stake.
Mm-hmm.
How probable is it that some of those individuals in Europe who are still being persecuted for that were like, fuck that shit, hightailed it over here, and then just, then it started over here too.
Exactly. And because to think that I feel like every culture has a certain level of magic that they practice.
Yeah. No, every culture has come up with that.
As a white person, white people are like the only people to not associate like spirits or an identity to things. Like, what is it in Japan where they believe if something's been around enough or it has enough influence, it gains its own like kind of like spirit? Yeah, or like so they believe
that. That actually is something that we used to have.
We're like the only people nowadays who don't do that, where we don't associate like the clouds doing something, being like an act of God, and not being its own. You know what I mean? Like it's like the wind is angry. It's its own thing. Yeah,
our science and our
we pissed off the sun. We didn't sacrifice enough virgins to the sun. Like, you know what I mean? So now it's not going to rain.
Well, and you know what's funny about that?
Thank you, leg hard enough.
And what's funny, like people don't associate like, or they think, oh, we didn't sacrifice enough, right? So they immediately associate like blood sacrifice, right? Like whether it's animals, humans, whatever. But at the same time, it's like, did you even sacrifice like out in the field? Like, did you go out there enough and really till the land? Like,
I think we might be taking things a little too literally from the past, especially for people that were probably a little more like highbrow with their expressions.
Yeah,
that's one of those. I think you're absolutely on the mark with that too. Is like, if you think about language, like take Attic Greek as an example. And a lot of the stuff and the way they would phrase shit, or like the topic of witches, right? Wool of bat, adder's tongue, all of this very poetic, witchy sounding stuff. It's like that's an old common name for that herb,
right?
To try and describe a plant. Yeah, exactly.
Like the eye of newt is actually something that's not like the eye of a lizard.
So absolutely, if you're talking about sacrifice within that context, take a little bit more liberty with what that may mean exactly. And is it actually sacrifice, like kill a goat, or is it like
your day,
allegory?
your back.
Yeah.
Or for example,
Time.
right? Like there was a Nordic practice whereby they would, upon breaking new ground, splash animal blood on it.
Mm-hmm.
I have blood and bone meal fertilizer that I put around my blueberry bushes.
Mm. You know
So,
what I'm saying?
Yeah, take some of that. Like, are they getting at something else here, or are they being quite literal with it?
Yeah, dude. And with like even like with Native American practices, right? People would trip out when they hear how like Aztecs did certain things, right? Or how some of these people do certain stuff. And it's like, okay, even if you go as far, because I believe in magic and voodoo, all of that, I believe in that 110 fucking percent. So all I'm saying is that there was people back in the day, like their daughters or their sons were chosen by the high priests at one point, right? To be offered, right? For the survival of their people, right? Like quite literally, like whether it's for the harvest or whatever, that's the survival of your people is that harvest. Because if you don't have a good harvest, you don't have food. Like everyone starves to death. Like, or they start eating each other, which is like holy fuck. Like
The Donner Party.
right. Like, yeah, we have a full-blown Dahmer party in this bitch. Or homie's daughter who got picked by our priest, right, gets thrown off a cliff. What are we doing, guys? We're throwing her off. We're throwing her off
And
the cliff.
it's great to like joke about that within a modern context, but if you kind of stop for a sec and really think about it, people still do that. Maybe not the exact same way, but in certain contexts, you'll notice that same behavior still occur.
Mm-hmm.
I used to kind of believe in nothing, and then one time I saged my house, and I woke up outside, and so there's probably something to that. I'm not going to be the one to unpack it, but there's something there.
There's something packed there. Do you know, I used to sage my house every day when I came home. I would just sage it, dog. Because I'm telling you, when we got back from Key West, and like I kind of like, and I stopped drinking, bro, I would like have like colds, like full blown night sweats, dog. Like
That's called sobriety, bro.
it was nuts, bro. I thought I had pissed my
That's
clothes one night.
withdrawal.
That was
like a demon.
Yeah, dude, it was. I don't know. You were on something else back then, dude. You were sweating the spirits out of you.
Yeah, I was sweating the spirits out of me.
We were doing an exorcism at least every Thursday to Saturday,
dude. And I'm telling you, I'd sage the house.
I'd wake up possessed, bro. I do, dude. Waking up, staying up all night, and then going to work the next day in Key West was waking up and the exorcist and just having her head turned all the way around, bro. That's what it felt like.
Oh my
yeah,
God.
Dude. That's what it felt like going to
Sorry,
work,
my neck
bro.
has been bothering me.
Nothing but Mr. Z's pizza and fucking throwing a Josh dog down the hash just for good measure. We're climbing up on that fucking roof, bro. It was miserable.
Man, and I don't know. I think when we expand, kind of like what Sam said, like when you fast forward now, like you still see some of those very old-timey behaviors still to this day, like maybe not in the same ways or doing the same things, right? But like you kind of see of how far people are willing to go sometimes to either like, I don't know, like prove a point, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like just to prove a point, how far they'll really fucking go, bro. Like it's nuts. Sam, my guy, listen, I didn't want to hold you too long. I know you guys are 3 hours ahead. Yeah.
No, we're good. We're good. I do not have to work tomorrow. I work Tuesday through Saturday. So if you want to keep going, that's totally fine. Or we can jump off.
It to the bit, baby.
Are you still locked in Austin?
Yeah, I'm right here.
Oh, my fucking guys, because I looked at the clock. I was like, oh no, dude. New York is a place I'm wanting to go.
We should meet up there.
Don't come here. I'm trying. I want to leave. To visit or to stay?
Just to visit.
Oh, okay.
To
There
visit,
you go.
dude. He likes North Carolina.
Yeah, I'm trying to get there, bro.
Or we could all meet in Texas and start something out there. But
Texas is cool. Texas is fun,
Vermont is
especially.
calling, or not Vermont. God no.
I
New
could do
Hampshire. New
Colorado.
Hampshire is
I
calling
could
my
do
name.
Colorado.
Colorado is fun.
If you wanna do a Ram Ranch situation in Colorado, bro.
If you want to talk about stuff that may or not be real, you know all the astrology bitches are out there.
I'm trying to go, dude. I'm trying
Oh
to. Sorry, it's Kane.
No, the
New
Carolinas,
York State.
the New York, New York. New York. I definitely want to go. I want to go to the city, but then I do want to go up to
Never mind.
No, well, the city just for like a week.
Go to LA, bro.
Do
Drive
not go to
3
New York
hours
City.
south.
I
Go
went
to fucking
once.
LA, smell a
Worst
homeless
experience
person,
ever.
and you're in New York, bro.
No,
Yeah, pretty much. Except
Let
you
a
have
homeless person mug you, and then a rat steal the rest of your wallet. A giant rat, like a rat that looks like he's trying to support a family of 4. And then it's like New York, bro.
do that, and then jump in freezer.
You never have anything good to say. You never have anything good to say about LA, but you want to go to New York City. I never get it.
It's just I went there as a kid.
You watched too much
It was
TV.
a different world there.
Different.
You were a kid. You didn't see the guy get stabbed. Your dad said, "Hey, look at this," to make you not focus on it.
You watched Home Alone 2 one too many times. You watched Trump not help that kid find his parents.
But no, I do want to go and just be like Times Square and just stand there for a second and just take that in, or be up at 4 a.m. and go somewhere to eat. Like, that was like my dad's thing. That was the thing he said he loved about New York, was that at no matter what time of day it was, he could get steak. Right, somewhere in the city he could find a steak dinner. It's like, oh, okay.
It was just a big mall as far as I was concerned. Like I got to see Times Square and I was like, it's a bunch of fucking TVs on the side of old ass buildings. Way too many damn people who smell funny.
And I remember when we went last, the World Trade Center was still being like dug up and they were trying to redo it. So I would like to go there. But I want to be able to go to DC soon. I want to go to Washington DC and then hopefully stop off in New York.
I don't know if I'd be allowed.
You should update your will soon, bro.
Yeah,
that is my advice to you. You should update your will before you do anything else.
DC's not that bad, but I have seen some crazy shit out there.
Not like worst in our nation for like education.
Isn't that crazy? And prostitution is
technically it's Baltimore. I think technically it's Baltimore, Maryland.
Is it?
It's not
it's been a while
DC. It's
right.
Baltimore,
no, I get it.
Maryland. It's
right.
The same, but different.
Yeah.
What is the purpose of it being its own thing?
Back in the day, it would have given too much potential authority or credence to a given state. So they needed the district for the capital of the country to not be inside of another state. That could use
pretend
that
to be independent.
Yeah, pretty much. Instead, it's all the worst corrupt bastards
we invented the telephone.
Of the country, all funneling into one spot.
I still find it interesting that it's still in the middle of a state. Like it's
gotta go somewhere. We want a fucking Zeppelin?
An island, its own.
Yeah, put it in
Hawaii. Yeah, right. That place we used to refuel our Navy ships.
Oh,
I'm sure the
God.
native Hawaiians would like that. Yeah.
By
the way, this is.
They don't like it. They don't like any of my jokes. They never land.
Oh my God.
Unless they can do it on the military bases there, I don't think they like my humor.
Wait, so I don't know if I've asked really ever, but how did you guys?
Haven't, but my day wasn't that bad.
How did you guys first meet?
Austin, do you remember the story? I've been around too many explosions.
It's got to be like the 4th grade.
We
were neighbors. Maybe 3rd.
we lived in the same trailer park, technically on opposite
park,
ends of the trailer park, but you know.
Yes, sir. I just walk circles. Eventually, it's like old people walking. Eventually, you'll sync up to the same path, and then you start talking for a little bit. And it was honestly like an us versus the world thing, because there was, and I'm not joking, pedophiles there, dude. So we almost had to run in packs, and then we always had like these scouts on bikes so that like they could like go up and see if there was like pedophiles around the corner, and then they'd come back because we didn't have cell phones, bro. I don't even think
I don't know if you remember this story, Austin. Did you remember the guy we called Lawnmower Larry?
Wasn't that the one who always wanted us to come in?
Yes, that was the guy.
We used to like bottles and cans because we used to make like a couple dollars off it back when $5 was like fucking 25 cents. The fucking Ed and Eddie got when they get that like 25 cents. That was $5 on Walmart. That was our fucking shit, bro. But yeah, we used to collect them and be like, "Oh, I need you to come in and get them." I'm like, I'm 9, but I'm pretty sure I don't.
So I don't know if you were there for this. But there was an event whereby we had all these pine trees throughout the trailer park and had like the huge ass pine cones. And so we hid in some bushes and like trees, and we pegged them at Lawnmower Larry because we called him Lawnmower Larry because he'd ride the lawnmower, and we hit him in the head and knocked him off the lawnmower.
Oh my god!
I don't think I was there when we. I don't think I was there when we declared our freedom on the fucking pedophiles, but
oh my god!
Because a lot of them would also pay us too, and then they stopped during.
Well, we would like shovel snow for people's driveways, and they'd pay us for that too, or we'd rake up leaves.
Or they wouldn't pay it for us; we'd have to put it back.
Yeah, that I do. I remember doing that.
Dude, I wished California had
by a 10-year-old.
Wait, what?
Said, imagine being extorted by a 10-year-old. I'll dump those leaves all over your yard. I'll get your neighbors too. I'll do your neighbor's yard for free, just to dump it on your yard.
Bro,
I'm 10 years old, bro. I got nowhere else to go. The only way I'm leaving that trailer park.
Lady?
I think we did because she had us do it for like 3 weeks in a row.
Yeah. And then she wouldn't. And then we went around to all our neighbors and were like, hey, we'll do yours for free. Yeah, and we have a spot where we can put the snow. We dumped it all behind her car.
We pushed her because she was like, oh, I absolutely need it. I absolutely need it. I'll pay you both, blah, blah, blah. And then the third week, she's like, you guys kind of talk a lot. And I was like, okay. She's like, you guys will stop and talk a lot. I'm like, it's a lot of fucking snow. It's like up to my knees. And I was like, so we stopped and do it. And she's like, well, you shouldn't get paid for that.
Now keep in mind too, we weren't charging her by the hour. We gave her a set quote to do the job.
We gave her 3 weeks to pay us for 3 times, or not 3 times, the whole weekend. It was Friday, Saturday, and Sunday.
I would have done it too. I would have done it. I would have dumped it right on her fucking front doorstep.
All we wanted, there was like an episode of Ed, and Eddie. All we wanted was candy from the laundromat, dude. It was either candy from the laundromat or they had Pac-Man, and we would just play Pac-Man in the laundromat. It was the only place you couldn't get molested in because the door, like the walls were made out of windows.
the cop would often hang out there too because you could see the road from the laundromat.
So it was the only place you could hang out indoors. We didn't have like an office.
Bro, I miss like good old school like arcades and game shops and stuff where you could just pull up and be there.
If you're nowadays a fucking arcade and call yourself an arcade and you're like 80% pinball machines, I'm gonna come in there and fucking tip them, bro. I hate that shit. Do not advertise as an arcade bar if it's only fucking pinballs. Get a light gun in there, bro.
Marvel versus Capcom or Metal Slug, like get something in there.
Get something with like fucking culture, like Mortal Kombat 2 specifically.
Yeah, Mortal Kombat.
I've got one near me. It's called Skate Escape. They've got like a nice, like a roller skating rink. I tried it once, busted my ass. Never again. I'm done. But like laser tag and arcade games. There. Say again, your last?
I think we went to a birthday party there.
You probably did. I don't know if I went to that one.
I didn't have friends there. I had to have been with you.
I was only there every other weekend.
This is down near Binghamton, not near.
Oh fuck no.
Yeah.
Oh my god, dude. Yeah.
Binghamton was like the Shadowlands for me. It was like my dad like held me up once, and he's like, "You don't go there."
Oh, dude.
Thank you,
We
Jack.
had a really, really cool arcade out here back in the day. And
It's the smell of the arcade.
I still remember like coming to Oxnard to visit from North Carolina, and I remember it was gone. I was just like heartbroken. Like, what? I would spend a whole $20, like when $20 was like cash
Meant something.
money. Yeah, like 20. Oh fuck, $20. I spent a whole $20 in that bitch, bro, in one night because it was just so much fun. It was
Ooh. On that topic, if you guys want to bring it over towards inflation and the devaluation of money a bit.
Oh yeah, what you got?
So, quick shout out to a guy who I talk with periodically on YouTube. His tag name is The Uneducated Economist. Just his tag name. Super smart dude. Goes all off first source material. The broad strokes of it is this. So, ever since we went off the gold standard, back when that bastard Nixon took us off the gold standard, the U.S. dollar ever since then has continued to steadily inflate.
Mm-hmm.
And we actually have to keep the dollar inflating or else the economy will go into a depression. What this effectively means is that there's this ever-growing... You guys know how like we think about like the classical American middle class, like 1950s type shit, like with the boomers were growing up and all that crap.
Factory workers, white picket fence house, red shutters, chilling.
All that
have
good
a family
shit.
and support a secret family across town, and nobody would ever know.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Especially because there was no internet, and you had to wait 3 minutes for a photograph to and set.
Show up with a fake name, start your whole new job that Monday.
Good times. Hey, now with a PDF fill out forms, you can do that now too. But so ever since we've started this ongoing trend of deflating the dollar away, there's been this ever growing kind of wedge between the rich and the poor. And so we're seeing the middle class kind of get separated over time into either one. Now, of course, if you have half a brain, the appropriate question should be, how do I get the fuck on the other side of that wedge? And not end up in poverty and destitute, owing $70 to your bank and $20 to the hat man. Sorry to cut out of that.
Combo. Rough combo. I may never financially recover, actually.
Yeah, you've gotten back from worse. I know you will.
That is unfortunately true.
See, you'll be fine. Really, if you want to avoid kind of going back to normal, like historically human normal, where there's the very wealthy and super poor people, get into assets. I don't care what you do. Real estate, stocks, do your own due diligence, be smart about it. But as long as you own something that will cash flow, you're going to be better off than a lot of everyone else.
If your credit score is not good, I highly suggest selling trucks.
For real.
Get something out there. And if you're a part-time weed man and you're working 40 hours a week, give it up. It's not happening for you, dude.
You got to be full-time.
You got to be full-time.
Yeah.
Get out.
Can you even make money selling weed anymore? Like...
No. Unless you're on the white market.
Angel dust or nothing.
Yeah, dude.
That's a man's drug, dude.
Hey, in all seriousness, that pretty much does drive the U.S. economy, I think. I think bankers, factory workers will shut down without it.
Yeah, and I just don't... I don't see how now, especially with all the information and all the little videos, right, you see of these guys, I still don't see how people don't understand now that is truly the way to hold your money. Like if you really want to hold your money and be like, you hear the generational wealth, you hear that shit all the time, but it's like if you truly want something that this money can pass down to your kids and then even potentially your kids' kids, these are the type of things you got to be doing, right? Especially real estate, if you ask me.
That was my big problem, is I wasn't born into generational wealth. That's something I'm gonna have to try and do next time. This time I'm about to give up, dude. This has got to be my year, or like I don't know, man.
This is my year. This
got to be my year, dude.
I keep telling myself that every year, and then eventually one day it's gonna work out.
Yeah, one day it'll be true.
No, this is gonna be my year, or it's gonna be everybody's problem, dude.
For real.
But no, so even adjusting the way that you think about stuff, right? So as you were saying there, Corp, with money, right? What is money? So if you crack open your Econ 101 textbook, which gets a lot of shit really fucking wrong, as do most of our textbooks, unfortunately. It'll tell you that money is a medium of exchange, or an agreed upon medium of exchange, whether that's something that everyone agrees upon organically, or if the state holds a gun to your head and tells you to use the funny monopoly money, or you'll go to jail for $500, Alex. It's an agreed upon medium of exchange and a store of value. If your money, though, your currency, right, the stuff you trade, constantly gets devalued, so if you just leave it under your mattress, if you come back in 10 years, it's going to be worth a hell of a lot less, right? So even starting to think and adjust about how you view money versus a currency to trade goods and services for, or a store of value. And our dollar is no longer really a store of value. If you're looking for that kind of thing, that's where you need to get into stuff like stocks, real estate, debt, bonds, anything like that. But if you're just holding money and also just relying on your income, you're playing a game and you don't know the rules. You're probably going to lose.
Oh my God. Yeah, dividend paying stocks, people. I'm not a financial advisor. Just saying.
It's as far as education and strategy goes, if you go with dividend paying stocks, ETFs, which are exchange traded funds that own stocks, closed end funds, specifically those that own debt, they get paid interest for. If you just go into those three things, watch like an hour's worth of YouTube videos on it, take responsibility, do some due diligence, you'll probably do all right.
Man, and again, that's another thing, bro. I don't understand how in this generation of information, right? Like you can look up YouTube videos, just simple YouTube videos, and learn how to perform a trade on a stock, or learn, the basics of buying a house, what down payments would look like, or even renovations, right? Where to start if you're going to try to flip this house, right? I mean, fuck. I was watching YouTube videos of how to install on metal roofs when me and this guy was in fucking Key West, so the information is there if people are really like looking to make a substantial change in their life, you know what I mean? Or set themselves up in a certain direction or pathway. You know what I mean?
Indeed.
Yeah.
On that topic, would it be okay if I plug a few books as recommendations for anyone who's watching this?
Absolutely. Anything you got, brother.
Okay, cool.
Right back then.
All right. Rich Dad, Poor Dad by Robert Kiyosaki. First book, pretty good, solid, foundational one. The second book in that series, which is Cash Flow Quadrant. Those are the two ones I'd go for Kiyosaki. After that, he gets a bit repetitive, in my opinion. If you're looking to get into business a bit more, good luck finding a copy of this, but see if you can there we go. That's how the camera, Jesus Christ, mirrors. For entrepreneurs only, Strategies for Anyone Starting or Growing a Business by Wilson Harrell. Trying to think here. Anything by Robert Greene, but specifically 48 Laws of Power would be a good choice.
Mm-hmm.
And those are my top recommendations. Those will give you a good foundation.
I've read the 50 Laws of Power, and then I listened to the 48 Laws of Power on audiobook.
Oh yeah,
two of my favorites, bro. I mean, 50s was his expansion, but the 48 is it's perfect.
You guys are still here?
Yeah. We're not gonna ditch you. You're stuck with us.
I went to go get the milk.
Oof.
I came back with water.
I was introduced to him as an author by the 33 Strategies of War, which was pretty damn solid. In the writing format, stuff gives you good practical examples that you can then use later on.
Yeah, it definitely can become obsessive, right? For some people, but I do think that in everyday life, you do see the examples of, like, you know, what was one of my favorites from 48 Laws of Power was never outshine the master, right? And
yep,
it's
rule
like,
number 1.
right, like immediate off the bat, I'm like, I fuck with that, because you don't, you know, if you even look into Star Wars, right, something that I love deeply, right, the apprentice is never to outshine the master. It's going to put him at risk, you know, if he's truly playing the power game, you know. And
or if and when you do it decisively and suddenly,
quickly, like, you know. And it's like you see that in so many different, you know, arenas of video games, right, books, like in literature, like you see how these characters behave a certain way, and it's like, oh, you can see how, like, for the 48 Laws of Power can even apply here. See how it applies in your own life with managers and this and that. And his books, yes, I 100% recommend, man. 100%.
I think about stuff like that a lot, bro. I kind of wish they'd bring back like trials by combat as a form of like promotions at work. I feel like there's too many people at work that like have like the power trip that like you could totally kill with your bare hands if it came down. I feel like the only thing that prevents that is like the laws of the land and like the fact that I need these food tokens to get my food. You are not the holder of those food tokens. Like,
as
story, man.
Bill Burr said in that one skit, it got fucking buried hard too. Power historically has to be taken.
Yeah, bro. No one in power is ever going to willingly give up their power.
We had the chance to cough on more people and clear out some space for us, but no, we have to do social distancing and wear a mask.
I'm just saying it was cool to do 120 on the I-5 at 3 in the afternoon, California. That doesn't happen very often.
Clear skies, bro. You would see clear skies.
I thought I was in a movie,
no
bro.
Smog. Yeah,
1976 Mustang, just the maxed out meter, the whole engine's rattling, and I'm like, I wish a cop. I just knocked over all my water.
Bro, doing 115, I'm telling you, blasting down the 101, bro.
Dude, and if you did get pulled over, right, just start hacking up in your car. The cop's gonna walk up and like,
I'd do the whole I'll do the whole B bit from Tommy Boy.
Yeah.
Ah, they're everywhere. Ah, the bees. They're getting me. Save yourself.
See, dude, and what was even weird, I knew there was something wrong, right, with Cali.
Was California?
I knew there was something wrong. Well, even in 2017, right, I got a job as an electrician, and I was making pretty cool money, like, you know what I mean, and I could live in an apartment, you know, me, my kid, and my chick. But fast forward to 2020, right, kind of started noticing it. And when COVID happened, March of 2020, right, like it was already kind of slowly happening, but the lockdowns happened in March, and I still remember my work gives me this piece of paper that I'm supposed to fill out. So if the cops pulled me over, I'm supposed to show it to them, and and then it explains why I'm out and about. And I was like, yo, you guys are fucking tripping, fam. Like, I'm gonna wipe my ass with that piece of paper. Like, I'm gonna wipe I know. I don't need to explain to them where I'm going or where I'm at. Like, I don't care what's happening outside, dog. Like, I don't give a fuck. I'll wear the mask. I'll do the 6 feet. Like, like I'll wait in the grocery store, shut down the fucking Taco Bell, whatever, bro. Like, I don't need a Baja Blast that bad. But
Baja Blast my brains out, dude.
Dude, I was like, you guys are fucking tripping. Callie was tripping on that one. And I can see them trying to do that again.
Yeah. I remember walking around downtown LA and they had closed everything, but if you kept a window or a door open, like they could serve from that as long as you didn't go inside. That was like the stipulation they had, that you could get it. You could pick it up at the street. I remember one time, like driving all the way up to LA, so a couple-hour drive, and I was like, we can go to Starbucks because what else is open? And I'm like, I gotta piss, and they're like, well, we can't let you in here. I'm like, no, I don't know, I think it was a gas station. And I was like, I gotta piss, dude. And he's like, I can't let you in here. And I was like, you had like the homeless people do. No, it was like a gas station right before LA, and they had an outdoor bathroom. And I was like, just leave the key and look the other way. And he's like, it's $1,000 fine. I was like, I'm gonna piss on the door like right now. And he's like, I'm not paying that $1,000 fine. And I was like, fuck, dude.
Bro, that was crazy.
I've never gone to LA and not pissed in the streets.
Have you guys heard of the
the
gas station test to know if you're in like a good area or not?
No, what is that?
Okay, so I drive around the state a lot for work, right, with sales. I know if I'm in a good area or not if the gas stations let people use the restroom, or if they have a public restroom or not.
True.
Or if you have to have a key to get in.
True.
And it's this sliding scale of like, there's some people around here who aren't very great or stuff, or there's like some troublemakers like, hey, you need a key to get into the restroom. And the person just hands it to you right then and there, and you hand it back.
Sometimes it's just a game for people, dude. I remember working overnight in a gas station.
Yeah.
And some dude would like shit in his hand and just rub it on the walls. And I was making like $7 an hour, and they were like, "Go clean that." I'm like, "I'll quit right now." Job here. I think I was making $8 because $7 is the minimum wage. So he Craig let me have $1 more because I volunteered for the overnight. And he's like, "Bro," he's like, "I'm gonna need you to clean that bathroom." I was like, "This is the third time this week, dude." She asked me for the glove before she went in. That's what was like the ultimate betrayal.
Oh my god. Oh yeah.
But no, if a place has like super city lighting, no restroom available, and it even has like signs up on the door, no restrooms. Yeah, no, you need to get the fuck out of Dodge, fam. You're gonna get shot.
Yeah, not a good place. And I do notice that, especially here in Cali, because I'm driving around from city to city doing these installs. Some of the neighborhoods we go to, super nice restrooms. I go in there and I'm even down to sit down on the toilet. Like, it's fucking clean in here. And then there's I went into one in LA, and the dude was like bathing himself, dog, like in the 2 sinks right there. Like, he was almost naked, like, like in there with the soap. And I was just like, oh, what the fuck? Like, so I just closed the door, like, I was like, what the fuck?
I saw that at a train station in Oceanside, California. Austin, did you go to Oceanside at all, or not really?
Lived in Oceanside, bro.
Oh, yeah.
3.5 years.
I'm sorry.
Yeah,
I saw a guy bathing in the gas station or in the restroom on the train station like that.
And don't get me wrong, bro. I've washed my balls in a gas station before. We've all done it. I'm just saying.
Yeah, but like your whole body, though, I mean,
I do the diamond, the diamond. Sometimes on a long drive, we've got to.
Oh yeah, like if I'm talking like full on soap shower, and they're not like you get the paper towel, you fold it up, you get some water in it, use the hand soap, and you get your pits real quick because you've been driving all day with no AC. That's a different story. That's respectable.
Yeah, that's a bird bath. This dude was taking a shower in the sink right there, bro. I was like, no way, champ. Even like, because I had moved from California last year. I had moved from California to North Carolina, and I got there by car, and I was even on the phone with this fool for a cool little chunk of it. But there would be places I would stop, and it was like,
Oh, yeah, I remember that.
yeah, like I'm not stopping here for gas, because you just look, it's like, nah, and so you have to hop on back on 66 and keep driving, and next thing you find the next closest place, you know.
I've been like California, drive from California to Florida, and then Florida to New York. I've been all through that, and out of everywhere I've been, California has got the only bathrooms that look like it would affect your credit score to go into.
Oh my god,
Florida's got some bad ones. Don't get me wrong, but it's usually lack of maintenance.
Cali's got weird, bro. It's
Cali's
weird.
got bathrooms, and I'm not trying to throw shade at anybody, but Cali's got these bathrooms that homeless people look like they breed in, bro. I swear to God, California's a beautiful state, but as soon as the sun starts going down, they start spawning in like mobs in Minecraft.
Bro, and they look like Mad Max characters, like dude, like
Yeah,
just
they're like
covered in
witness me.
soot.
And the worst part is you can't even farm them for XP.
Oh no.
Wish you could, bro. They look like they dropped common loot, bro.
I'm telling
Yeah,
you.
well, you know.
Boys, listen, I gotta shake out of here. I got some
sure.
stuff,
Alright.
I got some stuff to do for the evening.
Got homework to do. It's
But
been an
listen,
hour.
the Milkman, Unlucky
I'll
Charms
let you know
podcast. Thank you for fucking dropping in, bro. And
I was
crash
just coming
the
to
pod.
say hi. I didn't mean to crash the whole pod.
Nah,
You should name this one Nightmare, Nightmare, Nightmare.
I probably will. Honestly, the
Yeah.
Angry Capitalist Nightmare, Nightmare.
There's
Anything you
three
wanna
of us.
anything you wanna plug? Anything you wanna drop before we sign out?
Nope, does it all for me.
Angry Capitalist, Sam, the man,
I do.
the Milkman.
Yeah.
What do you got?
So what are you doing tomorrow, bud?
Oh yeah, the usual
Hell yeah,
Tuesday,
the usual Tuesdays.
the Unlucky Tuesday,
The Unlucky Tuesday crossover episode.
crossover episode. It's been
Tomorrow Tuesday?
No, that's the name of their show.
Yeah, it's
Oh,
the
okay.
usual Tuesday, because usually it's on Tuesday, but sometimes we do it on other days too.
Very well.
I have interviewed them all one by one, and now we're actually gonna do it. And I've been on the smoking section and the usual Tuesdays, and now the last thing we haven't done has had us all on one again from my end. So that's what we're doing next.
Yeah,
scheduling permit.
Yeah, and Sam, bro, I'll talk to the boys too, man, and get you over there. Let you talk over there too.
All right, sounds good.
Yeah, man, we can all just keep on doing these little collabs. This is what to me, this is like what podcasts are supposed to be about. Like, you know what I mean? You have some wild talks, like, bro, we talked about witches. Like, what the fuck, bro?
We
Like,
went from World War II to witches to why you're probably gonna die poor.
I'm not gonna lie, this was like a roller coaster, but it was like one of those roller coasters that makes you sit upside down for a little bit, like makes you think like the ride stuck before it finally catches through. I don't like being in the dark here.
Oh my god! But boys, thank you.
Because the Hatman wants his money.
It's gotta be, bro.
Boys,
I need to take some Benadryl.
Thank you for being on the show, for real. Like, this was
My pleasure,
fun.
Corey.
Yeah,
It was fun. It's good to talk with you guys.
All
yeah.
right.
Tune into our show tomorrow for all of us again.
Absolutely.
But on mine, but on the Lucky Charms.
Yeah, because I'm gonna wait for a link from you.
Yeah, I'm gonna host it this time.
Okay, so everybody check out the Unlucky Charms, right? Subscribe, all of that. So tomorrow's gonna be a banger of a fucking episode. I know.
I've also interviewed the Angry Capitalist, and he's also interviewed me. So that's 2 more episodes you go see on both of our channels as well.
Yeah, you guys check it out, boys. I'll message you guys right now. All right.
Yes, sir.
All right, fellas.
Later.